Good Saturday morning of the 9th week, and this is Paul's letter to Timothy. This is one of the most eloquent of all the letters. Watch him pour it on, okay? Beloved, I charge you in the presence of God and of Christ Jesus, who will judge the living and the dead, and by his appearing and his kingly power. This is what I charge you. Proclaim the word. Be persistent, whether it's convenient or inconvenient. Convince, reprimand, encourage through all patience and teaching. For the time will come when people will not tolerate sound doctrine, but following their own desires and insatiable curiosity will accumulate teachers and will stop listening to the truth and will be diverted to myths. Think of Germany in the 30s. Think of the Nazis under Hitler. Think about it. Perfect example. Italians were Mussolini, but they were jerks. German people were not jerks. But you be self-possessed in all circumstances. Put up with hardship. Perform the work of an evangelist. Fulfill your ministry. Do what you've got to do, what you've been called to do, whatever that may be. Parent, spouse, minister, whatever. For I'm already, this is the great line by him, for I am already poured out like a libation, and the time of my departure is at hand. He's dying. I've competed well. I've finished the race. I've kept the faith. From now on, the crown of righteousness awaits me, which the Lord, the just judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but to all who have longed for his appearance. This great line. See, I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. As I'm getting older and older and closer to my own death, I hope that could be said of me. I kept the faith. Imperfectly, for sure. That I have been a faithful disciple, a faithful lover of Christ. The way I want to put it my way, I want that I have been a faithful passionist, a faithful vitali. I have been a good son to my family, a good relative to my family, and a good passionist, and a good servant of the people of St. Timothy's and St. Mark's, where I've done such a huge amount of ministry over the past 50 years. I hope in the end that I will have served well, imperfectly as I have been. And I'm not saying I'm innocent. I am anything but. Anything but. But even in all my silliness, stupidity, sinfulness, and the rest, I hope I have still been faithful to the gospel and faithful to the people God has given me. And that I have brought Christ to them, sometimes very, very imperfectly, but still effectively. And that I have listened and seen in them Christ, that they have taught me by being who and what they are, that together we have, in a sense, sung the song together. I think of a jazz ensemble, because I know a washed-up trumpet player, that we have played this jazz motif together. Me on the trumpet, you on the drums, you on the piano, you on the sax. See? That we have put together one hell of a quartet or a quintet. You see? That's neat, isn't it? Improvising every inch of the way in a common theme. The common theme is the gospel, but improvising to our own and through our own uniqueness. See? Yes, I hope so. And so that when we are all gone, when we die, Christ will say, I hope to me you played the trumpet well, pal. You did a nice job on those motifs. You know, whatever you call them. You did well. You played well. You see, you lived well. You played well. You preached well. You lived well. You're a good passionist. Yeah, I know you're flawed. Yeah, who isn't? See, I hope so. I hope I will be as loved in my death, given my life, as I have seen in men that have died, the passionists that I knew very well, and I saw very flawed, but very beautiful. I have to say, some of the best men, I told you this many, many times, some of the best men I ever lived with were the most flawed, but they were the most beautiful, because there was no pretense to innocence. They may have been fighting alcoholism all their adult lives, but they were special. They were special. That was the time I was a student in student life. I served a private mess of one of the men who was an alcoholic, as I remember, and I knew I was in the presence of the holy. That's something, isn't it? I've been in this presence of the holy many times, and especially those who are repentant. Lay people, passionists, priests, religious. Always the repentant sinner. So beautiful. Not floundering, just humbly accepting the mercy of God through the sacrifice, through the sacraments of the church. I have been in the presence of the holy. Not the pious. I've seen that too. But the holy. The holy. And I think of that line in the movie, Akhenaten, snatching them out of the hands, snatching the soul out of the palm. It's from Dante, from the palm of the devil. There's something beautiful about God's grace. He doesn't give up. Just what he says, God is faithful. He doesn't give up on us. If we could just be open enough to his grace and not vain and say, I don't need it. Yes, you do. And that's what I saw. When you see someone dying, especially someone who's had a raucous history, you see how open they are to the divine forgiveness. They open their hearts to it and ask for it very subtly and quietly. Trust me. They welcome the sacraments. Sometimes they're hesitant because they think, especially some feel that if you give them the sacraments, they're going to die. They think that that's the magic formula. I hate to put it that way, but if you annoy them, they're going to die. They think they're going to survive. They hope that they'll still survive. They don't want the sacrament. They think it's the kiss of death, the sacrament of death. But then, it's not, of course. But then you see they welcome it because they know they are dying. And they welcome the sacrament. They welcome the church. Even though they have rejected the church for 50, 60 years, now their heart is open to the mercy of God through the church and the sacraments. Not as pious things, but of the holiness of God, embracing them and guiding them tenderly. That's the truth. And those are very, very beautiful moments in the life of the church, in the life of the faith, the life of a person. I'm grateful I was part of that God called me to be part of it. Not that I was holy, but I was in the presence of the holy. And the one who was holy was the one who was dying. The sinner who was dying. He's the one. She's the one who is holy. And she or he or they receive that sacrament. The doors of heaven are thrown open. I don't use that kind of language very often. But evil and death are destroyed at that moment. There is no sin no more. Now there is only the holiness of forgiveness and redemption. Been there. And I hope that one day those for whom I brought the sacraments will make sure that I get the sacraments. See? They'll look out for me. Remember I said that the other day? They'll look out for me. Hey, I took care of you. How about you take care of me? Don't let me slip away. Don't let me slip away. See? Isn't that neat? I think it is. Here in my old age, as I sit here in this very beautiful place that I've been coming for 30 years, I think of things. I think of life and death a great deal. Well, June used to come here, with the kids. She's dead 14 years. Yeah, her presence is here. You can't be here and be, with Karen and Ted and the boys and myself and not remember her with such an intimacy of friendship, of heartfelt presence. Because we were here for so many years, 20 plus years, together as a family, and I was privileged to be an intimate part of it, see? How could you not? How could you not? Whenever I'm on Cape Cod, again with June's family, I remember Uncle Harry, who took me there 70 years ago when I was just a kid, 65 years ago. My Uncle Harry is present on the beach, especially Nauset. He's on the beach there. As that ocean rolls in, Uncle Harry's there on the beach with me. Yeah, it's the truth. Yeah.